Happy New Year, Sister Power family and friends. After a 2-year absence, the Honolulu African American Film Festival finally returns to Doris Duke Theatre in February. Today, to discuss the films, Sister Power guests are attorney Daphne Barbee-Wooten and Tadia Rice. Film festival members, welcome to Sister Power.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Yeah, it's about time, isn't it, ladies?
Yes.
This is going to be absolutely wonderful. What I'm loving about this film festival is that everyone's so excited for it. We've been waiting for it. And so before we start discussing the films, Tadia, please tell our Sister Power viewers the Honolulu African American Film Festival's mission.
You know, it's very exciting that we are even facing 11 years now. We started back in 2011, thanks to the Honolulu Art Museum, who recognized that there was a piece missing in terms of community outreach. And so they offered a group of us, very kind of loosely created, the opportunity to present a film festival. So we started big time, and we were very happy to have found great films to line up. And we had the whole month of February to fill in. So what we decided was that we would eliminate the imbalance that existed without having focus on African Americans here in Hawaii. So every February at the Doris Duke Theatre at the Honolulu Museum of Art, which is the only art house theater, by the way. It's independent and international, and a lot of people don't know that. But we decided to celebrate African American cinema and the African cultural diaspora. So our film festival took on being a month long to showcase diverse movies and films from around the world that would all reinforce positive images and dispel negative images and stereotypes about African Americans on the golden screen or the silver screen. So we work in collaboration with the museum manager, and our committee is comprised of the three of us that you see, Sharon and Daphne and myself and Ethan Caldwell, Akimi Glenn, Sandra Sims. And so together we pull from other film festivals, from other information that we receive, all about great films that are coming out that feature or are made by African Americans. And we want to show the diverse cultures and the lifestyles of Hawaii. We want to initiate dialogue and important issues of the time. So we have documentaries that focus on topical issues. We have panel discussions. Every now and then we'll have a performance. We can bring in very well-known speakers. And we provide the platform for Black filmmakers, screenwriters, and actors so that they can present their art, whether they're emerging talent or established artists, as long as they can contribute to the cinematic legacy of African Americans. So that's what we do.
Yay, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to have an opening reception Thursday, February the 2nd, and we're excited that comes with food, it comes with entertainment. But Daphne, let's start with the opening night film.
Yes, the opening night film is Loudest County and the Road to Black Power. Yes. Basically, the film is a documentary, and it's shot in the South, and it showcases people like Fannie Lou Hamer, voting rights activists, John Lewis, and Stokely Carmichael, who galvanized the African-American community in the South to rise up and to vote so that they had representatives that looked like them. The county was predominantly African-Americans, yet they had no African-Americans in political power at that time. So this is one of the films that documents the power, Black power, of people recognizing the power of vote and to change their society for the better.
Yeah,
very good film.
Absolutely. And you know what's good about it? Did you want to add something to that, Tadia?
Oh, I just wanted to say, for those of us who thought we knew the civil rights movement and we knew what happened, this film blew our minds. And it will surprise everyone and anyone, because the courage that was exemplified and the struggle and the suffering, I don't think that any of us quite understood the immensity of it until this film really showed the dangers and the risk that people took.
And it shows that the African American people were so courageous. This is what amazed me about the film. And to follow that, Daphne, your father created a film, Racial Discrimination in Housing, and that kind of couples with the opening night film. Tell us about your father's film.
Yes, in 1962, my father was president of the NAACP in a town called Madison, Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin. He was in law school at the time. And he and some friends decided to film racial discrimination in Madison, Wisconsin. What they did is they would have testers who were African-American to go to houses that had for rent sign and ask if they could rent the room, and were told no, that it's already rented, or they couldn't rent it to them. And then they would have whites coming following and knock on the same door and ask if the room is for rent. And they said, sure, come on in, and show them the place. They interviewed realtors who explained why they wouldn't rent to African-Americans, which were really racist doctrine. Another thing about the film is that it's going to be a short, and it will be paired with Loudest County on February 26th at 2 p.m. And we're going to have a panel discussion on discrimination in housing from the experts here in Hawaii. We're going to have Eric Farrar, who is an attorney on Maui, who has successfully sued landlords and condominiums for discrimination and won millions of dollars. And also, you will also have a panel discussion from the Housing and Urban Development, who will be there, and Taitulani Mataraki, and he will also be talking about housing and urban development and situations in housing, also addressing the homeless issue here. So it's going to be a really interesting panel discussion, but my father's film was suppressed until 2021, which was fairly recent. They first said that it disappeared, they wouldn't show it. They said it burned in a fire. But with perseverance by many people, a young archivist, film archivist, went down into the depths of the basement and found the film. And we, unfortunately, the whole film can't be shown because some of it is deteriorated. But we did show it last year at the Chazen Museum to rave reviews, and it just sparks an understanding and a discussion of discrimination in America.
Yeah, it's riveting. And, you know, the Honolulu African American Film Festival, we have 16 films. So let that be known, from February the 2nd through February the 26th. And I'm excited, Tadia, about the film that's going to be shown, The Inspection.
The Inspection is quite a film, directed by Elegance Bratton. It's the story of a young gay African-American man who is rejected by his family and community, and he's looking for a place to belong. So his only option is the military. Well, he joins the Marines, and he does whatever it takes to be accepted. And it's very hard because there's prejudice everywhere he turns. There's a grueling routine of basic training that he has to go through. And despite the fact that he's facing this discrimination, this obvious and not so obvious, he finds kind of an unexpected camaraderie and strength in this new community, which really gives him a sense of belonging that shapes his identity for the rest of his life. It is such a good film, well worth seeing.
Yeah, I understand that Gabrielle Union, has a nice part in that film as well.
Yes,
So,
it's got incredible cast.
Incredible. I'm excited about blurring the color line. My dear friend, Crystal. Crystal is a filmmaker, and it's taken her 5 years. And let me tell you a little bit about it. Blurring the Color Line follows director Crystal as she unpacks the history behind her grandmother's family, who were neighborhood grocery store owners in the Black community of Augusta, Georgia, during the Jim Crow era. And this documentary serves to disrupt racial narratives and bridge divides. And what I'm enjoying about this, February the 9th, Thursday, February the 9th at the Pacific Club, we're going to have a panel discussion, and we're going to show short film clips. And what I'm loving about this movie, and with Sisters Empowering Hawaii is producing a Strange Fruit Express with Sequoia Carr Brown. Crystal, we build bridges, not walls. So this is what's going to happen. Attorney Andre Wooten, Daphne's husband, is one of the guest speakers, and Rear Admiral Groke Alma is one of the panel speakers as well. So Breaking Racial Barriers panel discussion and tasting event will happen Thursday, February the 9th. So there you have it. Now let's just keep it going because we're giving a sneak peek. We're giving a sneak peek of the Honolulu African American Film Festival. And right now, let's talk about one of my other favorites, Golden Hearted, the legacy of Ambassador Diane E. Watson. I love her. I miss the times that we all used to have tea parties at Mayor Bradley's home. Tadia, tell us about it.
Oh, my goodness. So many of us know Diane Watson so well. She's been a senator. She's been a congresswoman, and she ended her career, lengthy career, as ambassador to the Federated States, appointed by Bill Clinton. She is such a remarkable individual. She's now 88 years old, still living in Los Angeles in her community that she represented for so many decades. She's just a remarkable individual. And as a young Black girl growing up in LA in the earlier part of the 20th century, she had lessons to learn, and she's been able to be such a strong advocate for not just Black people or women, but everybody, whether it has to do with health or education or political rights and civil rights. A remarkable individual. And finally, the definitive authorized documentary about her life is being done. And I'm very proud to be one of the segment producers for this film. So that is going to air on Friday night, Friday afternoon, February 17th at 2 p.m. and closing Saturday, February 25th at 2 p.m. We're very, very proud. She and the production team will be in Hawaii, and we're just very happy that she'll be with us and we can celebrate her many accomplishments and her support for all of us.
She's a living legend. She's going to be here in Honolulu.
Yes.
I'm
excited. Actually, this is the premiere of the documentary, the world premiere of this documentary. So we're very, very proud of that.
I'm so excited. The last time we were all together was at the inauguration of President Barack Obama. And so, that was a good, fun time, good memories. And so we have, 16 films. We'll go over a few of them if we have time. But I'm also excited about this next film screening that Daphne is going to tell us about, The Invitation.
That's a film that was produced by an organization of predominantly African-American women. And the organization is called The Links Incorporated. And it's a short film, but it's thrilling in the sense that it shows the meaningful impact that organizations, especially African-American organizations, can have on our community. It highlights some of the more illustrious people who are part of the organization. It highlights such as Kamala Harris, I might say, our vice president. But it also shows how when a community can come together and help with scholarships and help each other to get more just all kinds of things. You can become a politician or help politicians if you want. Educators. That was really nice to see the various educators, doctors. The organization is not just in America, but it goes and expands to South Africa and Jamaica. They go to Jamaica and Haiti. And I was particularly thrilled when they did a brief discussion about how they have gone to Haiti and give medical supplies, especially when the earthquake occurred. But anyways, it's a short, but members from the Links chapter in Hawaii will be there as well. So it's
we have our very dear friend Sandra Sims is a link. Wendy Taylor is a link. Willie Bennerman is a link. Ava Beeman, and a couple others. Daphne, name a few others.
I am also.
Yeah, you.
But, yes, but
Marsha McFadden.
Marsha McFadden is also a link. Absolutely. So we have health professionals, lawyers, teachers, a lot of educators. But basically, the theme is that a group of African American women can get together and find out ways to help the community and to uplift and rise everybody in the community.
Yeah, keep hope alive. This is what I love about these sororities, that when they come together, it's all about, reaching back and lifting up. And so, Tadia, congratulations on your Behind Bars Prison Women Speak. Yay for you, and yay for
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Beyond Bars, Prison Women Speak is really an outgrowth of the 10 years that I spent volunteering inside of Women's Correctional Facility in Kailua. And this year, I'm very proud to say it is no longer inside. It is now a major reentry health and wellness program for women coming out of prison. This very short film is going to really highlight the fact that over 75% of Hawaii's incarcerated women are mothers, and many have substance abuse problems. 40% are Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islanders. 60% are victims of childhood physical, mental, and sexual abuse. And that's what's so important to talk about, because we here in Hawaii locally need to understand that the women going in are our neighbors. Their children go to school with our children. They're women who were often professionals. Some of them are fifth grade readers. Some of them are attorneys and bank managers. Everybody gets to go to prison. It's a very equal opportunity incarceration. Since in 40 years, women in prison have increased by 700%. And that's what's so shocking. And so these 5 women that are featured in this film are going to tell you their stories. And you will begin to reperceive who the women are that are in prison right here in Hawaii. Some you may know, some you may not. But the stories are very compelling. And their messages to other women are critically important, because if we can stop some of these young girls from getting into trouble early on, then we don't get them in prison. So this is very important. There will be a panel discussion with the subjects inside that were interviewed in the film too, and a chance for people to get up close and personal if they've never been around people who are incarcerated, especially women. So this is an opportunity for Hawaii to take a look at its own statistics and what can be done to assist these women who deserve a shot. Everybody deserves a second chance. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I really like the rehabilitation part of that film, and I look forward to hearing what the women say. And I think that the more people that assist people in rehabilitating themselves once they are released from prison, the better our society will be. There'll be less relapses. And I don't think people deserve to live in a cage, certainly if it's a serious crime. But if it's just drug, and majority, Tadia, correct me if I'm wrong, is drug related. And so let's just help them keep off of drugs. And
absolutely. And our way our way of Beyond Bar's way of reducing recidivism is to offer 28 medical services for mental and physical health and 24 module curriculum for training and job training and skills development. This is what they need, is skills development for competency, reading, and treatment, really treatment. Well, thank you, Daphne, for making those points.
Absolutely, that's vital information. But I want to go back and commend you, Daphne, for your perseverance and your persistence in getting your father's film out to the public. Racial discrimination in housing, and when you look on the social media, people are still going through this today in 2023. Well, 2022 up to 2023. So thank you for, pushing it forward. This is what we need. It shows the young women that you cannot be silent when it comes to, the mistreatment of other people. So thank you for that.
And especially in Hawaii, people need to be more aware that housing is a very serious problem. There's a lot of people who are houseless or homeless. And sometimes when you go to apply for an apartment, they want to know your income. And so if you don't have a job, or you have a job that's low paid, you don't get the apartment. So what happens? You become houseless again, and only the wealthy people are able to get these apartments or these homes that are being bought up. What did they say? Lanai, Larry Ellison owns a whole lot of Lanai, and Kauai, a whole bunch of Kauai is owned by Mark Zuckerberg. We need to have a more equitable society with respect to allowing people to have a decent house. That's my bully point.
Every job application and housing application will ask you, are you a convicted felon? Well, we tell the girls, do not lie, say yes, and have your explanation ready. But that is definitely another layer of discrimination that faces these women.
Wow. So let's go over since we've given our viewers a sneak peek. We have 16 films, and the annual Honolulu African American Film Festival returns. Let's talk about the other films. If we can, 4 women. Can we chat a little bit about 4 women?
It's so beautiful. It's a visual treat. I was amazed. It's how Julie Dash came up with this concept. It's amazing. It's just a delight for the eyes, musically, visually, every which way.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a treat for everybody. And also we have the Richard Williams story, not the Will Smith version, but the real Richard Williams. And that should be fascinating for people to see Richard Williams, in his own words, talk about his life and his daughter's stellar rise in tennis.
There's also 2 other very short documentaries, one on called Jasmine is a Star, about a young woman who suffers from albinism and what she has faced and what she's trying to do as a performer. And then Angels on Diamond Street. Again, women in cafeterias in schools, feeding the homeless, women who are willing to get their hands dirty and go out into the community and work and help others. All the films are very inspirational. We even have an African film called Tug of War, which comes out of Tanzania. And I tell you, it is a coming of age story that puts colonialism in perspective. Very, very well worth the watch. Daphne?
Well, how about let's talk about Family Sunday.
Exactly, Family Sunday.
Sunday, February the 19th at 2 p.m. Talk about that, Daphne. Family Sunday.
All right. I believe it's Aquila, the spelling bee, and Aquila and the bee. And it's really timely because Aquila has been in the news, the person who plays Aquila has been in the news lately as she's a rising star. But also it's about the importance of spelling bees and how it's family oriented in that her family helps her through this spelling bee and she wins. Oh, spoiler alert, but she wins. And it's just wonderful to see the support and to see the portrayal that the family has and the love that they have for learning and teaching their daughter to love learning. I myself enjoy spelling bees, and it's going to be a delight. One other film I wanted to talk to you guys about is Dear Mama. That was a sleeper. I didn't realize how good that was, but it starts off as though it's about Tupac Shakur, and it ends out with a homage to the mother. I just love it.
Yeah. And what about Little Trumpet? Little Trumpet is about, a 9-year-old loner wants his brother to teach him how to play the trumpet in New Orleans.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the story that unfolds in that family dynamic and the bond between two young brothers. So all of these films have very strong themes that weave together, that have created a tapestry of family stories, of relationships, of bonds under the weight of discrimination and prejudice, and the strength and resilience of the Black community around the world.
Mm-hmm. And just one other thing. What is interesting about the films that were picked for this session is that there's a lot of local ties. For example, Tadia is the producer for the women incarcerated. My father was one on racial housing. But also, you mentioned Little Trumpet. Well, it's a 19-year-old young lady who was raised in Hawaii. So, and I believe she will be, or she may be 20 now, but a young and up and coming producer. And the inspection was based upon a man who was in the Marine Corps in Kaneohe. You see?
Yeah, and Crystal Kwok's film with a Chinese Asian spin on African Americans in the United States. These are all subjects we need to be talking about. And the one thing about the African American Film Festival of Honolulu is we talk about these things. We are committed. We're committed to promoting our local talent, and we're committed to talking about the things that might feel uncomfortable to others.
Yeah, so you see an outstanding lineup of features, documentaries, and shorts from throughout the African American diaspora, alongside important panel discussions on relevant issues impacting our society today. So I would like to thank you, Tadia Rice, and thank you, Attorney Daphne Barbee-Wooten, for sharing your wisdom and especially your talents in creating these films. So on behalf of ThinkTech Hawaii and the Honolulu African American Film Festival and Sister Power, thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Sharon Thomas Yarbrough. Aloha.
Thank you so much for watching ThinkTech Hawaii. If you like what we do, please like us and click the subscribe button on YouTube and the follow button on Vimeo. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and donate to us at thinktechhawaii.com. Mahalo.